Hey, good Saturday morning, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in with me today live. Look, I'm here to answer your questions. I got a lot of stuff coming up today, and I'm probably, we're going to see how long I'm going to be live. I've got a heavy day of interviewing folks just like you on the show Voice Over Voices. Let's just put that little logo up on the screen there as well. Today, I'm going to be interviewing 5 guests. And tomorrow on Sunday, I'll be interviewing actually 4 that have scheduled already with me. So with that being said, I want to make sure that if you're a voiceover artist, you want to start, build, and grow a successful voiceover business, this is definitely the show that you want to subscribe to. So if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, make sure that you do. I wanted to have a conversation, an open and honest conversation this morning about a voiceover and to be able to answer your questions about anything related to the industry. I know that there are so many different issues in regards to how to start, build, and grow a voiceover business, and it can be kind of scary, quite honestly. I'm trying to see a couple of things here. Anyway, that's not working. Anyway, I wanted to just be able to come to you, do a live stream, and I'm going to try and do this pretty much every Saturday morning, where I'm going to come to you and answer your questions the way that you need them answered. I know that there are tremendous amounts of questions out here. Hey, Amit, so glad to have you here on the stream with me this morning. You're always around, man. Thanks so much for your support. Definitely appreciate you. If you're watching me live right now, go ahead and give me a shout out, give me a comment. I can put you up on screen as well. When you get around to understanding that being a voiceover artist takes a tremendous amount of skill on several different levels, and sometimes it just takes a minute to get those skills up. There's a thing about wanting to move fast, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at a certain point, you've got to understand that there may come a time where you need to just slow it down so that you can really get good at certain points of what it is that you're doing. I know that, if you just bought a microphone, you've got your interface, you selected your DAW, all that other kind of stuff, you got on voices.com, you got on Fiverr, and you just want to make some money. And you think that you're good and you think that you have the appropriate skills. Now, in many cases, you may have those skill sets already in place. But let me just tell you, it takes a minute to dial things in, especially when we're talking about audio production. I spent some time this morning and I'm still not happy, like even with the audio that you're hearing right now, even though you may think it sounds good. In my ears and my headphones, I think it can be a little bit better. So I was playing around with my interface this morning, already trying to get prepared for doing this live stream and the interviews that I'm going to be doing pretty much all day today. I've got 5 interviews booked with brand new voiceover artists that are going to be coming on my show, voiceovervoices.biz. I think it's up on the screen now. And the whole reason I'm doing this show, Voiceover Voices, is because no matter where you are in your voiceover journey, like I don't care if you started last month, I don't care if you started last week. There are some things that you're trying to figure out that so many other people are trying to figure out as well. There are things that other people have going on that you have going on. And I wanted to bring in the brand new voiceover artists and start interviewing them, enabling them to share their journey, enabling them to talk about the gear that they've selected or thinking about selecting, why they're selecting that gear. Talk about the DAW, the issues that they're having with the DAWs that they're using, script interpretation, how they're going about selecting their niche, how it is that they're going about getting work. All those types of things are so vital and important. The plugins that they're using, how come they're using those plugins, the different YouTube videos that they're watching to try and learn this whole thing. And I saw the vision that I had about doing voiceover voices, and you can get there by going to voiceovervoices.biz, right? So the vision that I had about this whole thing was to bring in the brand new voiceover artist, have us have an open, honest conversation about the issues that are going on right now. And then also give them an opportunity to ask me questions about how to overcome those challenges that they're having. So through all of these things that we're doing, and by the way, if you've got questions this morning, please feel free to pop in those questions. I'll be happy to answer your questions today as well. Through all those issues that they're having, you're having some of the same issues. And thousands, if not millions of other VOs are having those same issues as well. Now, I have a great opportunity here because I have a YouTube channel approaching 14,000 subscribers of voiceover artists, brand new voiceover artists and up and coming voiceover artists that have these issues. I had a conversation yesterday. Shout out to Anthony Pica. He gave me a call. I was so glad to get the call from Anthony Pica on yesterday. You know, hands down, my star student. And talking about some of the issues that we have in the coaching space and trying to help people overcome some of those things. And I'll tell you what, one of the things that I realize is that a lot of times in our space and voiceover, we're afraid to ask the question. For some reason, we think it's a stupid question, or we're watching all of these other videos and people seem to know and have the answers. And we feel embarrassed to ask the questions that we need answers to. And that's it's ridiculous to me to be that way, because there is no stupid question. The only thing that's stupid is not asking the question that you have, right? The only thing that's going to hold you back is not getting the information that you actually need to have. I had a situation yesterday. I reached out to someone in the podcasting space, another YouTuber that has a great YouTube channel, Diana Gladney, and she talks all about podcasting and the different gear that you use, how to create YouTube videos, all these types of things, because I could not figure out something on my piece of gear. And I had to go back to something that literally Anthony Pica said yesterday, and I told him about this on yesterday when he gave me a call. He had an issue where he was trying to figure out Fiverr. This was years ago. He's figured it out now. And he said, I'm going to take my laptop, I'm going to sit down in the middle of the floor, I'm going to lay here, and I'm going to figure this out. I'm not moving until I figure this out. And I had to do the same thing yesterday. I had an issue with getting an echo. I had an issue when I do interviews. I had an issue with getting echo. Just all these different things started coming into play. And these things come to play when you do introduce new gear into your stream, into your setup. And you have to figure out the things that are going on. And there comes a point where you're going to have to, all of us have to make up our mind. If we're stuck at a certain point in our business, in our voiceover business, in our careers, and getting work, and understanding our DW, and understanding our gear, and whatever it is that you're struggling with, there comes a point where you're just going to have to say, I'm not moving until I figure this out. I'm not moving until I figure this thing out. Because we can complain until the cows come home, but it comes down to getting the answer. And if I go back to the struggle that I had just, the past couple of days until I figured this thing out, I'm searching on YouTube, I'm searching on Google, I'm going into even Reddit, which I never go into, and I'm trying to find an answer to this problem that I'm having with my gear. It was probably 4 or 5 hours in. Probably 4 or 5 hours in. And what it came down to was just me starting to press buttons and starting to figure this thing out. And this may be something that you need to do as well in regards to understanding your JW, the plugin or plugins that you're using, how to do your compression, how to do your EQ, the buttons, all the buttons on your interfaces. If you're using something like a DBX 286S, if you're using something like a Focusrite Solo or a Presonus, I use a Presonus over on the side here. Actually, what I'm using right now to live stream with is a Rodecaster Pro. A lot of buttons on this piece of gear. With that, hey Iato, thanks so much for coming in here. Hey buddy, wanted to say thanks. I landed my first animated VO commercial. Had to thank all I feel helped. Appreciate you, bud. Iato, that is amazing. Awesome, my friend. I know that you're happy about that. I know that made your day with that. So definitely thank you for sharing that. And I love people sharing wins. In my Facebook group that we have, facebook.com, I think it's Earl Hall Studio. You can just look for the Facebook group there. It's free to join. Go ahead and join that group. I love when people share their wins. And by the way, a lot of links in the description. So if there is something that you want to share, especially a win, I love people sharing wins, because in this community, we're alone most of the time, right? We're in our booth or we're behind our mic. We do this thing alone all day long. And what matters? Thanks so much. I definitely appreciate you, Yato. Keep moving, man. Grind and don't quit, like you hear me say all the time. Grind and don't quit. We're alone in our booths. We're alone reading scripts. And there's, it's great to have community. like the one I've been able to build on Facebook. So I definitely want you to check the links in the description. Go ahead and join that Facebook group. It's absolutely free to join. As a matter of fact, I've got free training in there as well that you can get your hands on right now. You know, having the community, and one of the things about my private community, the mastermind that I have, and it's only $47 a month, by the way. I mean, you're able to get access to every course I've ever created. You're able to get access to that. You're able to be in the community where they get to be with me every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, and we talk about all of these issues. And whatever the issue is that you're having, I mean, it's live on Zoom. We're able to share our screens. You know, they're able to share their screen with their DW. I can take over. I can make changes. There's all these things that we can do in this little, you know, great community that we have. I mean, if you want to be a part of it, definitely links in the description. Community is important for us as VOs, especially those that are more extroverted. I think I'm more introverted, even though you see me animated and all of that stuff. I've taken enough personality tests to kind of know who I am. But so it's funny that I do this, right? Go live on camera and talk to people so much as I do. But when you have a community that supports you, it makes all the difference. When you're able to see other people's wins, when you're able to really get in there and see the struggles that other people are going through. Because here's the thing, you can take, like I did, about 7-8 hours trying to figure out a solution to a problem that you have. And after I figured out I could have joined Diana Gladney's Facebook group and probably got the answer much quicker. And that is so true, especially when you have a great community of people. You know, Diana Gladney, I love watching her podcast. I love watching her videos. They're very informative on cameras, on how to create YouTube channels, on marketing your YouTube channel, all that type of stuff. And they have a community, I think it's called Let's Get Live, for people that do live streams and are using pretty much the same gear that she is. And I actually use the same gear that she does. Right now I'm using a Shure SM7B to do my live stream, and I'm using a Rodecaster Pro for all my sound effects and stuff like you heard. You know, that's a button I just pressed, you know, to have that sound effect of laughter come up, you know. So, I mean, and the clap that you heard me give to Ayato and all of that. Why is that still playing? Okay, I think it's over now. All right, so... But when you have a community to be involved in, and thanks so much for the thumbs up, I appreciate it. So yeah, if you're watching right now, if you're watching the replay, give me a thumbs up, you know, all that kind of stuff. Make sure you're following the YouTube channel as well. But when you're a VO, when you're a voiceover artist, we're always on YouTube. We're always on Google. We're always trying to learn more and more and more. And sometimes people get into this place of paralysis analysis, right? Or analysis paralysis. I always mix those up. Analysis paralysis, where you're going in, you're watching this. So then, you know, you're looking at your DAW. So you're tweaking that like someone told you to tweak it or whatever. But what it comes down to, a lot of people will ask for my settings for certain things, or the settings on a plugin, or the settings on my DBX286S. And I'll show people those things. But what I tell people is, look, my settings don't amount to a hill of beans. They really don't, because this is in my environment with my microphone, with my gear, with my audio processing. You know, I'm in an open space, so I'm not in a treated space right now either. So when you look at this, you've got to be real clear on your space. So when you're looking at creating your own settings, I don't care if we're talking about on your gear, like a DBX286S. I don't care if we're talking about your microphone. You know, people select microphones a certain way. And it's interesting to me. I had a thought this morning. I went and grabbed some coffee, and I thought about microphones. And so many times people, there are coveted microphones that we have, right? The Neumann TLM 103. Then you also have about, you know, you have the... Shure SM7B people use, you have the Sennheiser MKH416. It's like, these are coveted mics, right? So, and a lot of them that people go to, if you're looking at like a Neumann TLM 103, you're talking about a condenser microphone. And you really, you know, people say, well, I want the Neumann TLM 103. It's, you know, it's a great mic. You know, Bill DeWeese uses that mic. I saw Earl use that mic, you know, all these other types of things. And it's like, you've got to consider the space that you're in. Now, when you're thinking about a microphone to use and you're looking at whether it's going to be a condenser or something like a Shure SM7B, which is a dynamic microphone, dynamic, not great. It's just the type of microphone it is. It's a dynamic microphone as opposed to a condenser microphone. A condenser microphone is going to pick up a whole lot more that's going on. They're built for that. And when you're using something like a dynamic mic like this, the pattern is not as wide, it's more narrow. And so it doesn't pick up a lot of stuff. And then that's also why people will use something like a Sennheiser MKH416 shotgun mic, like this, because it just points directly to you. The element is right in the tip, right? The element is in the tip. It's not off to the sides. So you're not picking up a lot. So depending on the environment that you're in, you may test out a couple of different mics to actually see what makes you sound better in the environment that you're in, right? So it's not about, well, Earl uses this mic, so I'm going to grab that mic. Well, you're not in Earl's environment. You're in your environment. So it may take you a couple of times to really figure this whole things out. Let's see here. Ayato had another comment. Let's pop that up on screen here. I don't know why these are being so big. So let me just see if I can. Probably because you guys are writing so much. Also, last Adobe Vid has me thinking of trying to add music now. Always use to avoid these jobs. Yeah. The video that I did, was it yesterday? I think it was probably yesterday that I did that video. And it was real quick. And I just show you how to go through and use Adobe Audition to create a voiceover and some of the different things that I use. And it's just, so many people are just doing way too much. And I showed people how simple it was to get in there and just to lay this stuff down with that. Glenn Hanna, hey Earl, looking forward to chatting with you later. I am too. Glenn is one of the people that I'm going to be interviewing later today on VoiceOver Voices. So he's going to be in our playlist that's coming up. You can just go to voiceovervoices.biz, right? I'm interviewing brand new voiceover artists because you got the brand new voiceover artists. Here's the thing. You guys have a level of knowledge that we ignore. And that level of knowledge that you have comes from the newness of this whole thing to you, the problems that you're encountering, the challenges that you're encountering. And this is why it's so vital and important, I believe, to do this type of show. I did my first interview last week with Daniel. Today, I have 5 freaking interviews with people. My calendar is filling up. Tomorrow, I have 4 interviews to do. So the playlist at voiceovervoices.biz is about to fill up. And if you're brave, and it's like you don't have to be that brave. Don't worry about being scared. Don't worry about being on camera with me, all that kind of stuff, because it is an on-camera interview that's going to be on YouTube, and you're going to get exposure to, close to 14,000 VOs that are out there, and you're actually going to be the one helping them. Because we're going to be talking about your challenges and issues, the things that you're overcoming, the things that you're still struggling with. And I just believe this is important for us to do. I believe this is important for us to do. If you have not booked your interview with me, book it today. The calendar's filling up. I even have people scheduled into next weekend. So I believe there's still some spots available today, tomorrow. I only do these interviews on Saturday and Sunday. Go and book your spot now. Just book it and be that person that is willing to help the VO community. Be that person that is willing to put yourself out there, because this is going to help you further what it is that you're doing in your VO career. You need to understand that putting yourself out there is important, and this is going to be a major way for you to do that. I want you, if you have not already, go to voiceovervoices.biz, schedule that interview right now, and then come back and tell me you scheduled that interview. I'm excited about the whole thing too, Glenn. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate you. I'm definitely looking forward to talking to you later today. Look, we talked about like microphone selection, then we get into like starting to introduce new pieces of gear into your chain. When you start to introduce new pieces of gear into your chain, there are going to be issues. Sorry to tell you. The gear that you're going to select doesn't matter what it is, especially when you get beyond just something like a Focusrite Solo or PreSonus AudioBox USB 96 or something like that. When you start introducing things like DBX 286S, when you start introducing things from Universal Audio, when you start introducing other pieces of gear into your chain, you're going to have to fix the issues that come along with that gear. But once you fix those issues, you will be amazed at how much better you will be at your VO. One of the things that I talk about especially is when you're looking to, and by the way, if you've got questions, you can go ahead and pop those questions in as well, and I'll take your questions. when you're looking at all of these things here and starting out as a brand new voiceover artist, or you've been in for a minute and you're starting to interject new pieces of gear into your chain and all that stuff, the thing that I talk about is taking care of issues before they hit your DAW. Taking care of issues before they hit Adobe Audition, before they hit Audacity, before they hit Reaper, before they hit whatever DAW it is that you're using. Pieces of external gear can help you with the end product, because now the gear is going to handle your noise reduction. It's going to be a gate to take out background noise. It's going to be able to let you select the exact amount of compression that you want to use so that you don't have to address that in your DAW, because it's done with your gear. It's just already done. Your EQ, your de-essing, what else? I mean, there's so many different things that you can just have completely done so that you do not have to address them later on in your DAW and have to fix it. And that is one of the things that when I said years ago, and people thought I was crazy, 5 years ago, I was saying the home studio is the future of voiceover. And look, now we're here, right? And I was saying, you're going to have to become somewhat of an audio engineer, but it's not even that serious. It's like the words audio engineer freak people out or something like that, or whatever. But when you understand that level, and this is so simple, it's not even hard. It's not even, if you got some gear and you sat down for a week and just figured it out, you'd be done. You'd be done. You could literally, from 3 to 7 days of clear, solid focus on one thing, you'll master it. You will master it. And you'll get to that point. Take a solid 3 to 7 days. Work on, if you need to work on your plugins or editing or whatever it is, work on that for 3 to 7 days. Don't do anything else. Just do that. Figure out what you're going to do. If you've got gear and trying to figure out the settings and the knobs that are going to be on your gear, take 3 to 7 days and just get it done. Knock it out and get it done. We all wear these cans, right? So we can hear what we sound like when we're doing what it is that we're doing. So it's vitally important that you take the necessary time to just dial it in. So many times, we're doing, okay, I want to lay down my voice. Okay, I want to work on my editing. Okay, I want to, figure out the knobs on this. And why isn't this working? And we're doing all these different things. Old Chinese proverb, the man that chases 2 rabbits catches none. You're chasing like 5 rabbits. Let's just focus on 1 rabbit, right? Figure that thing out and get it done, and then move on to the next one. Because if you're chasing all 5 rabbits at the same time, you're not going to catch any of the rabbits. But if you focus on one, you'll figure it out. Does that make sense? I hope that analogy makes sense with that. And then moving on into the critical part, obviously, I always say your number one job as a VO is to get the client. And then once you've figured all of these things out, from your microphone to your DAW, to your audio interfaces, all the things in your audio chain, you figured all of these things out, then what's going to happen is now you're ready for clients. See, people always, well, how do I get clients on Fiverr? You don't even know how to use your DAW yet. Why are you trying to get clients on Fiverr? It's like you're putting something in front of something that shouldn't be in front. But if you focus on one thing, I ought to put up here, how do you deal with birds? Same thing, right? It's like, I don't think we're going to catch any birds or whatever. He also says, also wonder how people live in busy environments and record. Yeah, but that's an issue. People will ask me a question, well, what do I do if I'm in a noisy space? It's like, there's nothing to do except get out of the noisy space or move. And if you can't, then you can't do this. There's no answer to that. Or you're going to have to spend a ton of money and get a totally quiet booth that does not allow noise in. There's certain things that people ask. It's like they know the answer, but they're scared of that answer. But once they accept that answer, then solutions start coming with that as well. And see, this is one of the things, and it's also the reason why I'm doing voiceover voices with Earl Hall. The show, voiceovervoices.biz. Again, if you haven't scheduled your interview with me, you've got struggles, you're just starting, you've been in for a year, you're still trying to figure out, you've been in for 5 years, whatever it is, schedule your appointment with me. Schedule the appointment so we can get your interview, because what you have to say is important. And trust me, I'm going to bring it out of you. Even if you don't know what to say, I know what to ask. I know what to bring out. And it's just going to be a simple conversation. It doesn't matter what you do or don't know. It does not matter what you do or don't know. I want you to schedule that appointment with me at voiceovervoices.biz. Go there right now and schedule that appointment. All right, I've got interviews starting in less than an hour coming up. Hopefully you'll be one of those that I do today, tomorrow, or next weekend, but you got to schedule that with me. I want to thank you for spending this time with me here on this live stream today. Make sure you check all the links in the description. A lot of vital information in there. Make sure also go to stepstovoiceoversuccess.com. Follow me on this YouTube channel by subscribing, ticking the bell, so that you know when I go live or when I upload another video. And make sure you subscribe to me on Instagram as well, at Earl Hall Studio. You guys have an awesome and amazing day. We'll see you soon.